I'm here in Miami for the very first time in my adult life. I was here as a kid, and instantly, my first day, the very first thing I noticed was how vibrant. Everyone was outside. Loud music was playing. No one was on their phones. People in their free times were reading on their balconies. They were, laying in the park with all the palm trees, with their friends communicating or reading a book or just being social. The beach was packed. I know it's a little bit later in the day right now and it's been raining, it's kind of gray and it's work day, so it's a little bit lighter right now. But usually the beach is packed. Everyone's outside. And it's not just the tourists, it's the locals too. And there's supercars everywhere. So many Lamborghinis. What is that? Is that a Ferrari? I think it might be a Ferrari, like right there, right now. If I can zoom in. But there's Ferraris and Bentleys and Rolls Royces everywhere. And in other places, people see cars like that and they're like, "Oh, what an asshole! Like he must be a dickhead." I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that. You probably the trees blocking it. But here's a place where like there's opportunity. I'm talking to my Uber driver. He's talking about, ooh, like that's a Rolls Royce. Ooh, I want one of those one day. Like I wonder what that guy does, and he'll sing it as a positive thing. But there's a lot of other places that I've been to where the people see a Rolls Royce and they're gonna want to like scratch it up, or they're like, oh, that asshole, he probably inherited it, it's daddy's money, or just hate in some type of way because they believe that it's impossible for them to do it, and so they share that negativity, and so they promote this. The honest thing, the best thing to do is to work the horrible 9 to 5 for the rest of your life. That's the honorable thing to do. Being rich, you're an asshole. If you hate rich people, I've asked people that, they're like, do you think rich people are bad? And they're like, yeah. And then I'm like, do you want to be rich? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, so why do you want to be a bad person? And I'm going off on a tangent. But the whole purpose is this is a place of opportunity. This is a place where people have the right mindset. This is a place where people are. There is a subset of people who are just, posting Instagram pictures, the bikini girls who are like taking too many pictures and that's all they care about. But most of the people here, they're active. There's so many people. There's like a trail for walking over there. So many people, especially in the mornings, they get up early and they go on walks out there. They're being social, they're not addicted to their phones like everyone else across the world. And everyone's happy. And a big part of that, of course, is, beautiful weather year round, and then on top of that, thriving economy, thriving business center, everyone's doing good. The tourist economy is there. Like a lot of people here, the reason why they have such a great mindset is because they came from countries like Cuba, countries where they didn't have anywhere near as many opportunities here. So even to just be a worker making like, $20 an hour, they're so happy for that, plus tips obviously. Or, maybe they came from middle class and they're looking to be up in one of these high rises where it's like 5,000 a month over there. And like there's just so many opportunities here, and there's like everyone's ideology here is so positive, and that's why you need to come here and either visit or live in Miami. If you want to be successful, you need to be in a place like here, like in Miami, where everyone else's trajectory is up, where everyone else is not going to be weighing you down, saying, "Oh, you're wasting your time with that passion project, with investing here, with doing that." People are going to tell you to make objectively bad decisions that'll get you nowhere. You might fail trying to be successful, but you're going to be a failure if you don't try, right? So you might as well try. And so that's why I encourage you, you must move to a place like Miami, or at the very least visit a place like here so you can see, like that hope, because it brings you up. It's amazing, right? And of course, I'm in a tourist area right now, but I've been to all the local areas too. And that's what I reflect. Everyone's active. Everyone is friendly. Everyone is like even whenever I was like at the mall, all the workers from all the different stores were yapping to each other. They would always, in their breaks, like I've seen so many people pull over and be like, "Oh my God, like, this person's name," and then they start yapping. Like everyone is socialant here. And that's another thing. Like you'll be seeing dudes who are like 50 years old dressing with a sideways hat, coloring their hair, long hair, like expressing themselves. Like they don't care what other people think. They do what they like, and that's the beauty of this place, right? And that's why you have to visit here to like see what it's like, or at the very least, you could watch YouTube videos, vlogs if you don't have the money to get out here, but just make it happen. I think traveling, something that I've realized more recently, is traveling is so important because it really lets you see just how the world is. It lets you see the different ways people live. It lets you meet new people, get new ideas, Like you might live, I don't know, in Texas like I do, and you think that's the best place in the world to live. And it is a great place in the world to live, and that's probably where I live, but I probably live here at some point. But the whole point is you travel to other places, you're not going to know if there's another place you would like more than your home place. That's basically what I'm saying. I got my friend who was telling me about how two of his buddies are saying, "I live in this state and I will never live anywhere else." And it was like the most mediocre Midwest state. And I'm like, you don't know nothing. They're talking about, "I'll never live in this country. They don't have this, they don't have that." And it's like, they're not even willing. they were saying like they were talking shit on Croatia because we were saying like Croatia's awesome and like it'd be a cool place to live or at the very least vacation, and they're like hell no, it's the slum, this and that. And then my boy went over there and sent him pictures like, yo, this is actually really nice, way nicer than your like white trash state that you live in, no offense, and they're just closed-minded, and that's the type of attitude that'll get you nowhere in life. That's the type of attitude that'll prevent you from ever living in a high rise like the ones over there. $5,000 a month is what it costs over there, and it's freaking doable, but not if you don't try, right? Like, wouldn't that be sick? Imagine you live there, 5 grand a month, and then like, like you're around other people who are motivated. You're around other like-minded people. You're not around bums. You get to come to the beach, be super active. Bro, the Cuban community here is amazing, bro. It's so funny. Like, everyone here keeps trying to talk to me in Spanish. I'm black, but they just assume I'm like, I don't know. Do Haitians speak Spanish? Probably not. I don't know. One of the countries that speak Spanish. They probably think I'm South American or something. And, it's pretty cool. Being here makes me want to learn Spanish. The culture is great. Everyone's so friendly with talking to you, that sort of thing. Oh, but what I was about to say, like Cuban food's delicious, man, and it's healthy. I've never had Cuban food before this week, and every Cuban meal I've had, I never even had plantains before this week, and I had plantains for the first time, and I loved them. So like, try new stuff, try new cultures. Like, you don't know, like, you might think you're super happy in like California, and then you try Canada, you try Montreal's in Canada, you try, I don't know, France, you try Miami, you try Texas and Maine, Virginia, whatever, and then you realize your ability, like, you were already happy, but your ability to be happier is actually higher because you found a place that you like more. That's all I got for today. Big Brother Jake out. Thank you. Bye-bye. Love y'all.